Well, we finally got a look into Microsoft's future hardware plans, starting as soon as this year. We've also got some stuff from Sony regarding the PS5 Pro and PlayStation Super Resolution. And has Sony adopted AI a little too early in gaming? Well, let's find out. Let's start with the first topic, which is near and dear to my heart for sure. And that is Chrono Trigger is celebrating its 30th anniversary. This was yesterday, I believe. No, it's today. It's today, as of the time of this recording, anyway. But it's super cool. I love Chrono Trigger. It's my namesake, one of my favorite games of all time. I've never beat it, but that's in the works. We started streaming it not too long ago, but it's cool to think that this game has impacted RPGs. It's impacted people the way it has. And it's amazing to me that we still don't have an HD 2D version of this. So get on it, Square. Come on, 30 years? That would have been the perfect time to announce this. I don't know what's going on. They need to figure this out, though, because this game needs the HD 2D treatment. Would be amazing. Be amazing. I'm not the only one that thinks that. That is a gamer sentiment everywhere. All right, anyway. Very cool, though. Love the game. I'm glad to see Square Enix acknowledge it exists. I feel like they don't want to touch it for some reason. Anyway, all right, let's move on. All right, SplitFiction came out, and within the first 48 hours, hit 1 million copies sold. I've been seeing clips of this game everywhere. I do want to get it. I do want to get it because I'd like to play it. I really loved It Takes Two, and now Hazel Light has another hit on their hands. I believe the Metacritic scores on this game are the highest they've been in an EA game has been in a long time at launch. Hey, Dan, discussed Death Stranding 2 yet? Not yet, man. I didn't even put it in the list. It's not something I've covered much before. But yes, I did see that the trailer launched there. So yeah, Hazel Light, like, good work. I can't wait to play this game. Me and my wife loved It Takes Two, and we will be checking out SplitFiction together at some point soon. All right, let's move on to our next thing. All right, this shouldn't surprise anybody, but Forza Horizon 5 on PlayStation 5 will require a Microsoft account to play. This is from The Verge, Wes Davis. The PS5 version of Forza will require you to link a Microsoft account to your PlayStation Network account in order to play the game, according to an FAQ on the game's official website. It says that players will be prompted to link the two the first time they load the game, and if you unlink later, you will be constrained to relinking only to that specific and originally linked Microsoft account. That's a very Microsoft thing to do. I'm just going to point that out. That is extremely dumb. Requirement stings given that there's no cross-platform saving, so the progress you make in the PS5 version isn't reflected in the Xbox version. It's the same situation for the Steam version, as the FAQ points out. Also, the page notes Horizon 5 players will need a PlayStation Plus subscription to access the game's multiplayer feature, and there are no plans for a disc release. Hey, Dan, thanks for stopping by, dude. You have a good night. But, yeah, this doesn't surprise me that there's no physical release for the game. But what does surprise me is there's no cross-platform saving. So, like, if I made the jump to PlayStation or just wanted to play on PlayStation, I have to start over. I think that's dumb because the account linking should allow play anywhere to be play anywhere. It's kind of weird. All right, what else does this article tell us? Let's see, when it releases on the PS5, April 29th, it will be the latest Xbox exclusive to make the leap to Sony's console, joining games like Sea of Thieves, which also requires you to link a Microsoft account before you can play. Gamers haven't been keen on required account linking when Sony has done it in the past. The company actually removed a requirement for you to sign in with your PSN account for some PC versions of games, including Helldivers 2, and more recently God of War Ragnarok and Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered. Okay, this is dumb because what Sony was doing was, hey, you have Helldivers currently, and you've been playing it, but now you have to log into your PlayStation account. So I think that statement's a little misleading. The account linking isn't the problem. It's the fact that it was suddenly a requirement after owning the game and would have broken the access that some players had to the game in regions that don't have PlayStation Network access because Sony doesn't have it there. I'd imagine this is the same problem. Some people in territories where there might be PlayStation Network but not Xbox for some reason, if they link their account, they won't be able to play Forza Horizon 5. I don't know that the game would even release in those regions, but let's just say that's true. You could be upset about that, but you would know that going in that you have to have that Xbox account. This situation, Sony's hard, fast requirement all of a sudden on an existing release was the problem. So, like, I think that has nothing to do with the rest of this article. But come on. Here, they're saying, hey, you got to have your Microsoft account to be able to play. And this is so Microsoft can track how many people on PlayStation are playing and then go, hey, look at all these people on the Xbox network. You know, I think we saw references to the phrase Xbox network before. So that's what I'm going to call it here. But that's all this is. That's all this is. It's just a way for Microsoft to track user numbers more accurately instead of just relying on sales alone and whatever Sony allows them access to. I'm sure Sony has some kind of dev publisher dashboard that you can see like sales and active users and all that. This gives Microsoft a little more control over how players are engaging with their game directly, and you cannot like it. That's fine. It's really a nothing burger, except I think it's dumb because you don't get play anywhere. No cross-platform saving. Come on, Turn 10. Come on, Microsoft. Get that cross-platform in there. Nobody wants to start Halo over when Master Chief Collection gets on PS5. That's all I'm saying. It's like you have to be a Microsoft account or forfeit Minecraft thing. So bogus. Right. Like, yes, that was dumb. So, yeah, I don't know. I kind of spaced out there. I'm so sorry. Anyway, Forza Horizon 5. Guys, get that together. I don't know. Cross-platform saving, it needs to be a thing. Anyway, all right, let's move on. Okay, guys. Acclaim is back. You guys remember Acclaim from the 90s? Famed 90s publisher Acclaim to be revived, focused on indie devs and classic franchises, which is weird. But let's see what Eurogamer has to say. Thanks to Ed Nightingale for this article. Acclaim, the publisher behind hundreds of classic games from the 80s and 90s, is set to be revived. The company closed back in 2004 as it filed for bankruptcy, but will now return to support indie developers and reignite classic franchises from its portfolio of IP. Acclaim was known in the 90s for game adaptations of familiar franchises, from WWF, now WWE, and The Simpsons, to movie tie-ins like Alien 3, Judge Dredd, and Batman Forever, to comic book games like Spider-Man and Wolverine. It also published the likes of controversial Mortal Kombat games and Theme Park. Then, in the late 90s, it was prolific for publishing N64 games like Turok, Extreme G, Shadow Man, and the South Park FPS. I make references to the South Park FPS randomly. Just some of the sound effects from that game just are etched into my brain. I don't love the game. It wasn't a game that stuck with me. It's just some of the sound effects became jokes between like my sibling and my cousins, and anyway, that's neither here nor there. As well as resurrecting its old franchises, the company will be offering funding, marketing, and PR support to indie studios. I think that's going to be their best bet. Indie studios needing a friendly publisher that doesn't just be all scummy and overtake their IP is key, if that's what they're doing here. Newly revived publisher has an advisory board of industry leaders, including licensing icons, professional athletes, living music legends, and seasoned veterans who have defined the intersection of video games and pop culture. That includes two-time Hall of Fame wrestler Jeff Jarrett. Interesting. For more than 3 decades, I've had the privilege to have been a part of both the wrestling and gaming universes, and I'm thrilled to now be a partner in the revival of Acclaim, an iconic publisher known for releasing some of the most legendary games of the 80s and 90s, said Jarrett. My early involvement in the publisher's hit 16-bit WWF titles to my experience helping shape the TNA wrestling series, which spawned the first video game wrestler to become a full-time roster member in the Squared Circle. I've seen firsthand the type of impact great games can have on players and fans. Resurrecting Acclaim is an opportunity to impart the same degree of passion and love to a new generation, and I'm excited to be involved. Acclaim was originally founded in 1987, publishing a number of NES and Game Boy games. However, sales of its games declined in the early 2000s, which led to a number of studio closures across the UK. Eventually, the company closed in August 2004, closing all of its facilities and terminating all employees at its Austin and New York studios. Still, a number of game franchises first published by Acclaim have made a return in recent years. High Speed Racer Extreme G and puzzle game Iggy's Wreckin' Balls were added to Nintendo Switch's online N64 cat. What, really? Extreme G's on there? Must be the UK one. Which were followed by Turok 2, Seeds of Evil, and Shadow Man in the mature app. Original Turok and Shadow Man games are available on all platforms, now published by Night Dive Studios. With more, as previously reported, a new Shadow Man game is in development from Blowfish Studios, along with comic publisher Valiant Entertainment, while Saber Interactive is working on a new Turok game it revealed at last year's Game Awards. I think that's cool. I'm interested in the indie support more than bringing back any IP that they still hold on to, because I feel like a lot of those old IPs have found new homes, but maybe Acclaim still has a claim, get it, to something there, some of the licensing or something. Interesting though. Interesting to see where that goes. But cool nonetheless to see a 90s brand revived. I always think about this logo and then the Mortal Kombat 1 on Sega Genesis, like the theme would play like right after that logo showed up. And I remember liking it. And so that's one of those things. I guess talking about things being etched in my brain. That's one of them. Anyway, let's move on to our next topic. BlizzCon returns in 2026. All right. Let's read on. This is on the Blizzard forum site. BlizzCon is back. The ultimate celebration of our games and the community that unites us is returning to the Anaheim Convention Center Saturday, September 12th and Sunday, September 13th in 2026. One of our favorite traditions, BlizzCon brings us together over our shared passion for Blizzard's universes. But at its heart, BlizzCon has always been about so much more. It's about you, the communities you're a part of, and gives us the chance to connect, build friendships, and create unforgettable memories together. That is a weird sentence, and I did not like reading it out loud. We've come a long way since our first event in 2005. Over the past nearly 20 years since its inception, BlizzCon has inspired us to innovate, push the boundaries of creativity, and deliver once-in-a-lifetime moments. It's important that we put on an event worthy of our community for 2026, alongside BlizzCon staples like opening ceremony, in-depth panels, the Dark Moon Fair, friendly competition, hands-on gameplay, and more. We aim to meaningfully elevate this iconic celebration and create an unforgettable experience for all who take part in it. We're building this event just like we build our games, with a deep commitment to our players, with respect for your connections to our universes, and as a celebration of the strength of the bonds formed through shared adventure. The road to BlizzCon starts here. We can't wait to share more with you as our plans take shape. Visit BlizzCon.com and sign up to receive BlizzCon updates. Be among the first to know. Okay, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have read that last paragraph. I just kind of got like an autopilot mode. So very cool. I always enjoy BlizzCon. I've never been. I like watching the panels that they put up on YouTube. I mostly watch it for the WoW cinematics and Overwatch news at this point. So who knows what we'll see in 2026. I'd imagine if there's a digital event again in 25, we'll get some updates in September, and then they will ramp up things for BlizzCon 26. We'll see. I feel like Blizzard's able to put effort back into these kinds of things because Microsoft's backing and coin purse runs deep. I mean, I'm just gonna be honest here. I feel like they can do these things because they can afford to do them, where Activision for a time it was like, hey, everything you're doing is not great. Overwatch kind of feels like it's on a rebound. Diablo's getting some updates to correct some things people didn't like with Diablo 4. And Warcraft, well, it continues to do well because it's Warcraft. Again, I enjoy the cinematics, so maybe they'll give us something new then. Anyway, very cool to see some old stuff become new again, I guess. All right, let's move on. All right, here's our big story. Let's talk about Microsoft's hardware future. Exclusive on Windows Central from Jez Corden. Exclusive, Xbox's new hardware plans begin with a gaming handheld set for later this year, with full next-gen consoles targeting 2027. Microsoft's first full foray into PC gaming handhelds begins with a partner device set to launch later this year with its own Xbox Series X and S successors, now fully in production, which lines up with also PlayStation 6 being in like full development production phases. So, it's all gonna be AMD powered anyway. Wouldn't it be wild if Microsoft was like, oh yeah, by the way, we partnered with Nvidia? No, they've already announced it like a few years ago, a multi-year partnership for the next like few consoles with AMD. So we have a while before any major architectural differences start to show up. Anyway, let's read the article. Here's your first glimpse at Xbox's next-gen hardware plans. And some parts are being executed more quickly than you might think. The Xbox Series XS generation has been a bit of an odd one. Microsoft's console hardware sell-through has declined quarter over quarter for some time, but Xbox's addressable monthly active user base has been skyrocketing, owing to the purchase of Activision Blizzard. Armed with mobile games like Diablo Immortal, Candy Crush Saga, and Hearthstone, atop core games like Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, and Overwatch, Microsoft's future in gaming is all but guaranteed. What has been a little less clear is Xbox's plan for hardware. Because of how they keep releasing everything on PlayStation. Microsoft has been putting I just made the joke. Been putting its exclusive console games like Forza Horizon 5 onto PlayStation to help grow the profitability of its business, which makes perfect sense. In the near term, addressing users where they are is far more cost effective than what Microsoft would need to spend to acquire new Xbox console users potentially. Yeah, just put the games where people are already playing so they sell. However, the strategy has been questioned for the long-term damage it might do to the Xbox console hardware. Microsoft appears keen to continue servicing its legacy Xbox audience with new hardware, regardless. And over the past few months, Jez, has been working to figure out exactly what that might look like. Here's what I've learned. This is actually kind of interesting. Jez does a lot of good work for Windows Central and gets to talk to a lot of people. And I feel like this article is being kind of swept under as like a nothing. Like, oh yeah, who cares, But I think we should look at what we're about to read. Not so much as like what Xbox could be doing to try to salvage the brand, but just what consoles are going to become with the next generation. First up, Microsoft is working on a PC gaming OEM. Think Asus, Lenovo, MSI, Razer, etc. on an Xbox branded gaming handheld, surprisingly slated for later in 2025 if plans are met. I would hope they could partner with Lenovo or Asus personally, but it could be it could be Dell for all we know. We'd get an Alienware Xbox something. Codename Keenan. This gaming handheld will look unmistakably Xbox, we're told, complete with an official Xbox guide button and Xbox design sensibilities. Given that this is a partner device similar to Lenovo's SteamOS partnership with Valve, I expect this handheld to be more PC oriented. Keenan is almost definitely running full Windows, putting the Microsoft Store and PC Game Pass front and center, alongside the ability to install things like Steam. This here, the Steam install is what we were talking about, last year before? I think it was last year. Phil Spencer said, hey, I'd like to put Steam on Xbox. This is your first step in doing that. Do a handheld to get Xbox games more accessible, but also Steam because Xbox games are on Steam. This device will likely serve, at least in part, as a research experience for Microsoft. I expect the handheld will test new Windows 11 device-aware capabilities while reducing third-party OEM bloatware that are typical of devices like the Lenovo Legion Go and Asus ROG Ally. See, those are the two best ones, I think. The Steam Deck is great. Don't get me wrong. Fantastic hardware. Looks cool. I think these brought it a step further. The whole form factor. I expect Microsoft will leverage widgets on the Xbox Game Bar on PC for controlling things like TDP and fan speed, while hopefully having a more streamlined OS experience for controller use. Of course, existing PC gaming OEMs will benefit from these efforts as well, but the research will also help Microsoft further out plans. That's the other thing. So, just if you already game on PC and you use any of like the built-in Microsoft stuff, which if you don't, it's not surprising. But if you do, or you're playing games through like PC Game Pass or from the Windows Store, those features should get better when this device drops, because ideally a lot of this would just come to Windows as an update anyway, right? Like you would get better game bar widgets and functionality just natively, hopefully. That's the logical way to think about it, I think. All right, because indeed our sources also indicate that Microsoft's internal successor to the Xbox Series XS platform has been fully greenlit all the way up to CEO Satya Nadella. For now, I understand that Microsoft's next-gen hardware plans include a premium successor to the powerful Xbox Series X, alongside its own gaming handheld, and several new controller options. Tentatively, these new consoles are slated for 2027, which makes sense. I mean, it lines up. 7.5 year lifespan. Hopefully we don't have chip shortages in 27 like we did in 2019, 2020. It seems that the next gen Xbox consoles will be closer to Windows than ever before. We kind of knew that. Just gonna point that out. We kind of knew that. Reducing the amount of work developers have to commit when porting from PC, which is the key. That will be great. I understand that they will continue to sport backwards compatibility with legacy Xbox games too. However, Xbox President Sarah Bond previously announced a project team specifically designed to promote backwards and forwards compatibility for existing Xbox games. To that end, Xbox lead Phil Spencer has teased in previous interviews a desire to support third-party storefronts on Xbox hardware too, including platforms like the Epic Game Store, GOG, itch.io, and even Steam itself. There's every reason to presume AI will have a role to play in next gen as well as Xbox cloud capabilities. Microsoft's new controllers have direct-to-cloud connectivity, from what I've been told, and more intelligently allow players to switch them between different devices. That would be great, because right now switching, completely off topic. If I pair my Xbox controller to my Xbox and bring it to another Xbox, that's an easy thing. You just resync it. If I switch to like my MacBook, my iPad, my phone, or even my PC through Bluetooth or the Xbox receiver, it starts to get weird. But the specific switch I'm talking about is going from like a Bluetooth connection to the Xbox 2.4 gigahertz wireless protocol, whatever they call it, but their proprietary connection, which is not Bluetooth. There's just so much hiccup, and it doesn't necessarily automatically connect how you think it would. And so I've had to delete and re-add on multiple occasions just to get the same controller to work at all. So I like the idea of it more intelligently allowing me to switch between different devices. Hopefully that means like, you know, you can pair it to multiple things and then just kind of, you know, wherever you're using your controller, it starts working. I don't know how they would determine that, but that's something I'd like to see. Of course, there are plenty of logistical issues to overcome with regard to some of these plans. Always note, plans might change between now and 2027. Consider this a preview of what could come to pass as we wait for official reveals from Microsoft itself. Plurality of devices are on the way for Xbox fans, new and old. Man, I am just struggling with that. What's going on there? All right, Xbox's multi-device future revolves around meeting players exactly where they are, regardless of device, geography, or playstyle. Its acquisition of Activision Blizzard accelerated that vision, anchoring Microsoft as a gaming company for the foreseeable future. Microsoft's slate of upcoming games is stronger than ever, and the possibilities for integrations between Game Pass, Battle.net, Cloud, and Microsoft's mobile games also offer tantalizing potential. So yeah, I kind of thought this would be like obvious and a faster thing to roll out, but I'm assuming, you know, Battle.net's kind of a legacy thing, and if they were to even hint that it was going away, it would make people upset. Cloud needs a lot more work to be more reliable. It works, but not as good as like other solutions are working, you know. And then the mobile storefront, I don't know what's going on there. It's weird. But let's continue. Microsoft's strategy has de-emphasized its own Xbox console audience as its main growth vector, however, which has put stressors on the brand. I've argued in previous editorials that Microsoft needs to bring its core audience along for the ride rather than leave them behind, and its hardware plans seem to be doing exactly that. By linking Xbox to Windows, Microsoft can cast off the need to build a system that is completely lockstep with PlayStation on features and power. Microsoft could potentially target a more powerful box, more in line with higher-end PCs, giving developers an easier time to optimize their Windows PC versions, specifically for the next-gen Xbox console, which would make sense. I mean, we're kind of like borderline there, except the same thing with PlayStation. The current gen consoles between Xbox and PlayStation, the hardware in those is very, very close to a PC. I don't see why you couldn't reverse engineer some stuff and just run Windows on it and get some like very rough drivers working for like the GPU access and everything. However, they are highly specialized for running the game, the OS for the respective consoles and the games without having to like adjust a bunch of settings and do a bunch of things. They're not PCs. They're very, very close though. So this is like the next logical step. Just make it a PC with a very user-friendly interface, living room-friendly, controller-friendly interface. I've been wanting this for years. Thanks to the Series S, Microsoft already has a large amount of games that could be more easily ported to a handheld type system too. The strong possibility that these future systems will remain backwards compatible ensures that those of us who are digitally locked to the Xbox ecosystem will have a place to upgrade in the future. Future Xbox games will likely be Windows oriented, hopefully with Xbox Play Anywhere as a default licensing model. Of course, there's still so much we don't know and can only speculate upon for now: price, specs, features, developer support, and beyond, or for a future report. At least for now, Xbox well and truly remains all in with hardware. So yeah, that's kind of the big story for this week is Microsoft's handheld console may be coming out this year, and 2027 we'll see the next living room consoles, next big console releases, but they'll be PCs with like a Xbox dashboard on them with maybe a Windows like layer to it. I'm hopeful that this kind of helps bring people back in line with Microsoft not just giving up on consoles entirely, but we really need to see more on what the hardware looks like, what the goals are. Microsoft needs to really clarify what their intentions are. Excuse me. I think that's been like the biggest point of contention is all these games going to PlayStation, but what's the point of buying Xbox hardware if everything just goes to PlayStation? Now, obviously not every single thing has gone to PlayStation, but enough has that people are concerned. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this handheld first. That's this year. We can think about it. We can talk about it. I'm hoping Asus or Lenovo really get the partnership. But who knows? It could be any of those OEM partners that Microsoft already relies on. It could be something weird. What if we got an Acer? Nobody would buy that. Nobody would want that. Anyway, all right, let's move on to our next topic. If you know, you know. All right, Mark Cerny. This is also a Eurogamer. Mark Cerny, FSR 4 for PS5 Pro is the next evolution of PSSR. I really hate that they called this. He could have come up with another one. I'm tired of XESS, DLSS. FSR is 3 letters and much nicer to say. That's all I'm going to say. All right. Anyway, RDNA 4 Upscaler is the first result of AMD / Sony's Project Amethyst collaboration. All right. So this is from Richard Ledbetter over at Digital Foundry, also on Eurogamer. Last week, AMD released its new wave of graphics hardware, developed around the new RDNA 4 architecture. Machine learning performance is dramatically increased, opening the door to FSR 4, a brand new machine learning based upscaler that delivers excellent quality comparable to NVIDIA's DLSS. Just after launch, AMD revealed that it was co-developed in association with Sony as part of its Project Amethyst initiative, and in an interview with Digital Foundry, PlayStation lead system architect, and Dana Carvey cosplayer Mark Cerny says that our target is to have something very similar to FSR4's upscaler available on PS5 Pro for 2026 titles as the next evolution of PSSR. So basically, if you have a PS5 Pro, you'll get a new feature in 2026, right around the time the PS6 is being announced or teased more heavily, and rumors are flying everywhere. But this is interesting. This article does get a little more technical. There's a video that they put out there. They talk about the AMD GPUs. I just wanted to focus on the upscaling tech that was supposed to kind of revolutionize the PS5 Pro right now, and it really hasn't done that. There's a lot of videos out there. The current iteration of the PlayStation Super Resolution functionality is not great. And in some instances, games have ended up looking worse or just, smudgy, weird. It's a lot of the same things we saw when Intel first dropped their superscalar XESS technology. And when AMD first started messing with FSR, we saw some of it there. So it's kind of like learning pains, growing pains. I think it's just kind of weird that they're saying, he straight up said, it's going to relaunch or it's going to be available on PS5 Pro for 2026 titles. It's just that wording's kind of weird. It makes it sound like they pulled the feature. Did they pull the feature? I don't really know. Maybe it's just not being pushed as hard because the results, while acceptable, aren't what everybody wanted to see at launch. But yeah, definitely check this article out. I put all the links for the articles in the description this time. I realized I probably should have been doing that the whole time I've been making the series. But going forward, I will put the links down there. You guys can go read through this yourself if it makes you happy. This one is a little more technical, and I didn't want to read through it all on stream or in the video because a lot of my audience, may not enjoy it. If you do like it, let me know in the comments. We'll do more of it. But anyway, let's move on. Okay, last topic, and this one's kind of grody, but depending on how you feel about AI. Leaked video appears to show Sony director conversing with an AI Aloy prototype. This is just a glimpse of what is possible, director said. This is from gamesindustry.biz. And who wrote this? Vicky Blake. We read some of her articles before. All right, PlayStation is reportedly using characters from its biggest franchises in an AI prototype. A leaked video appeared to show PlayStation's director of software engineering, Sharwin. As an American, I can tell you that's too many letters for me to try to say correctly. So let's just go with PlayStation's director of software engineering conversing with an early AI Aloy prototype. The video, sent to The Verge but since taken offline following a copyright claim from Sony, showed PlayStation's director of software engineering give a brief tech demo of Aloy communicating with him, voice prompts both within the AI prototype and in the game Horizon Forbidden West itself. This is a glimpse of what is possible, he said before demonstrating how Aloy can give players lore and background information upon request. Whilst the voice does not match that of the in-game Aloy, the character model responds intelligently to questions with some synchronized facial expressions and movement according to him. This is the only internal demo developed at Sony. According to The Verge's reporting, the AI system uses OpenAI's Whisper for speech-to-text and GPT-4 and Llama 3 for its communication and decision-making, while Sony's own Mockingbird tech powers the audio-to-facial animation and emotional voice synthesis powers speech. Although the prototype was running on a PC, Sony believes it can run the same tech on PS5 consoles with little overhead. Last week, the voice talent team that brings Apex Legends characters to life in French reportedly refused to sign contracts that would authorize their voices to be used to train AI. And that's where the rub is for this. Not only... Well, I guess let's get the negatives out of the way. I don't like the idea that we can just use voice synthesis to replace voice actors. I think there really needs to be some kind of structure that if, like, If somebody's likeness is used in any way, they should be compensated for it. If their voice is the model for a character in a game that they did not record new lines for, but there was like an AI model used to generate, that should be compensated fairly. And not one time, hey, we paid for your likeness, we paid for your voice print or whatever. That should be like a blanket thing. Now, the second part of this, which I'm kind of for, is this would allow you to ask questions in game and get answers in game, kind of in real time, which I think would be awesome. I think it'd be really cool to see just how that could work. You know, think about Skyrim's AI GPT mod, where people, like, you can talk to people and they give you like AI responses or like, whatever. It's very cool to see play out because it's like text conversations are endless, voice lines are infinite. That's super cool. I just don't like the idea that somebody's likeness is being used without being compensated. I think that's the big problem. A lot of actors, voice and live action actors are really struggling with how to navigate this, because companies will run wild with this. They're starting to. We're seeing this now. We saw it with as a developer, we're seeing games being like built on Grok with AI prompts, and now we're seeing voices and animation and videos being fully made without human interaction. And those models that they were trained on help build it. Those people need to be compensated for that. That's where I stand on that. I'm not trying to be a downer, because I like the possibility of, hey, you know what? This game can truly be infinite. The world can truly feel alive, as long as the proper things are in place to make sure that people are recognized for their efforts and abilities. And that's where I'll leave it. So what do you guys think of the game news? Thanks for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, we are live every day, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Central Time. And then on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Fridays in the afternoons or evenings for longer streams. But, yep, that's what we do on the channel live. And then once a week, we do the game news. So if you like this video, hit the like button. If you didn't, hit the dislike button. Let me know what you think of AI or any of these other stories. Do you think Xbox's handheld is going to be good? I hope it docks to the TV. I think that would just make it awesome. Replace the Series S entirely. I don't know if that'll happen though. But anyway, thanks for watching. I'm going to go restart my internet, and then we're going to continue the stream in a few moments. But yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.